Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you got some good rest there in the rest hold. I didn't, but that doesn't matter. We're going to move on to the next part here, which is...
You look so well rested, though.
Do I? What shirt am I wearing? What color?
Pink.
I don't even have any pink on this one. You're wrong. Kind of disappointed. I wish I was wearing my pink shirt. I would look better.
Just going for the obvious answer there.
Yeah. Gray, for all those asking. They're wondering right now. Our main event for this episode, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, is going to be the predictions for SummerSlam 2016. We're going to run down the match card, at least what it is Tuesday night when we're recording this. They might add some new things a little bit later on, but probably not, because we actually have 11 matches already on this card. Now, there is the chance that there's room for it, because we have a 4-hour show and a 2-hour pre-show. Holy shit, I don't want to watch 7 hours of this stuff. When you count in the podcast, and then I got to edit things, I got to write articles and all this kind of stuff. 6 hours of a show on top of the night before watching TakeOver. It's going to be a little bit burnt out. And then we got Raw afterward, and then we got SmackDown after that. By Wednesday night, I'm not going to want to think about wrestling in the slightest bit. So come next week's podcast, I might be like, yeah, wrestling sucks, and that's our main event at the end.
Sick of it.
Yeah. Oh, God, it's all fucking terrible these days. All the good people are taken.
Well, the pre-show, you know that 90% of that is just garbage that you can skip.
Yeah, so it's going to be Lita and... who's doing it now? It's Lita, Renee...
Lita, Renee... is it still Corey Graves or no?
I don't think
so. I know he
so.
was doing it.
I don't
Booker
think
T?
Oh, it might be Booker, yeah. Oh, Booker and Lawler.
King? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be them talking about, like, well, who do you think's going to win between Lesnar and Orton over and over again?
Yeah.
Ugh. But I assume at least one of these matches is going to be moved on to the pre-show, maybe 2, maybe even 3. And one, I guarantee, if any of them go to the pre-show, guarantee this is going to be one of them. That's the SmackDown 6-woman tag team match.
That's the one that I was going to say. If they were going to move any of them, make it that. Yeah.
And that's not just because it's a women's match or whatever. It's because it's the last match that they announced. They put this off as just kind of like, well, got to figure out some way to put them in there. But it's Becky Lynch, Carmella, and Naomi against Natalya, Alexa Bliss, and Eva Marie. Little asterisk on that. I don't think she's wrestling.
You don't think so?
No. I think she's going to get out of this again, and that's why that team's going to lose.
I could see them giving her the win. Having her get the pin just to piss off the crowd.
That would be pretty great if she doesn't wrestle the entire time and then they tag her in at the last second and she pins like Carmella or whatever.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, she just gets in there last second, does none of the legwork and gets in there and picks up the win and then acts all proud of herself. That'll get so much heat.
I love it. Just do it. And then do the spot again where you lose her top.
Yeah.
Gorgeous woman. She should have beaten Paige out in that tournament. So could have Becky Lynch and Carmella. We're not going down that road again. Alexa Bliss is the best out of all of them, though.
Oh, yeah.
We also have Sheamus versus Cesaro. Now, this is going to be the first of a best of 7 series, which I'm assuming it's basically going to be on Monday Night Raw. And it's, wait a minute, if it starts at SummerSlam and we have, you know what, that probably should end at Clash of Champions. I think they could probably knock that out. They got 4 weeks, I think, or they don't even have 4 weeks, do they? No. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they might be able to go around this. Maybe they'll do 2 in 1 shot or something like that. But this is the best of 7, so really whoever wins this one doesn't really matter all that much.
Yeah, so I was going to say, if we know already that there's going to be 7, why do we care so much about this one? What we're going to care about when they're tied 3-3 and whoever gets the 4th one. That's what we really care about, because that's what it's going to come down to.
You know that it's not going to be a best of 7 and it's just going to be like the first 4 Cesaro wins.
Yeah. Then I mean, I'd be fine if they did that, but it's likely not going to happen.
Or just to throw people off a little bit, Sheamus wins one of those. Just one. And I think it's this one.
So, I mean, it's like a 2 out of 3 falls, you know, almost always it's 1 and 1 and then whoever gets the 3rd, rarely, they've done it before, but rarely do they have somebody go, 2-0.
The only one I remember was that Candice Michelle Beth Phoenix one. And that's because Candice fucked up her brain.
Oh, geez.
It's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
But I think Sheamus is winning this one. I think that that's a way for them to kind of counterbalance what they've been doing recently, where Cesaro's gotten the upper hand most of the time. Sheamus wins this one, kind of makes it look like Cesaro's on the outs a little bit. He's going to have to fight his way back up. Maybe he wins on Monday Night Raw. Maybe Sheamus wins 2 in a row. I still think Sheamus is winning this one, though.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, too. I like your reasoning, so I'm going to say Sheamus also.
Now we got one of my most anticipated segments. I think this is going to be fun as all hell. Enzo and Cass against Team Jericho. They're kind of calling it Jericho. So, Jericho.
Jericho.
I love all 4 of these dudes. I think they're all killing it on the mic. They're just doing fantastic stuff. So even if they don't wrestle and they just talk, probably going to be my favorite part of the night.
Yeah, I was going to say too, I hope they give them plenty of time to talk before the match. All 4 of them. Because they are all really good. And the hype for this one, if they didn't really let them talk, it wouldn't be there as much. I mean, everybody loves all these guys, but I think when you give them the mic and let them go back and forth, especially Owens, man, I'm excited for this one. Just from an entertainment standpoint. I mean, the wrestling is going to be good too, but just as far as letting them talk.
Now, given the choice between the two, what would you rather have? They cut a long promo and it's a super quick match, or they cut a promo backstage on like the pre-show, don't have a promo before the match, and it's a normal match?
The first one.
Just because it kind of like keeps it all in one sort of uniform thing?
Yep. I don't think they should split it, because they've done that before where, they'll do their talking backstage and then do something else in the meantime. And to me, I think the hype dies down a little bit in between. You kind of are disassociated, not necessarily forget about it, but you don't have that constant excitement and energy. So I think they should have them go out there. Don't have them appear backstage until they come out, their music hits, they cut promos, have them wrestle for however long, and then hopefully we get a clear winner.
I'm up for that too, because you got the energy of the crowd too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't get that in the backstage thing, so nobody's watching the pre-show. Nobody gives a shit. Renee Young saying, oh, well, Enzo and Cass, they got a little bit of a bone to pick. And then it's like, okay, well, where's that pizza? Where's the bathroom? That kind of stuff.
Yep.
Man, I want pizza now. I'm starving.
No.
Some pepperoni, extra cheese. Fuck. All right, we have the Tag Team Championship match is going to be The New Day versus Karl Anderson and Luke Gallows. Ring postitis is all over the place, but hopefully that doesn't apply to the other 2 members of The New Day. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are wrestling. Big E on the shelf, or I don't know, maybe sitting in a chair. More than likely.
It'd have to be a big shelf.
Well, UPS and FedEx, they got to put Big E's package somewhere in the meantime.
Jesus. Careful, you might get this podcast taken down for copyright restrictions.
Copyright because it's smack talk and they're talking smack. They're going to retroactively do that again. Jerks.
Yep.
I think we're getting a title change here.
I hope so. That makes sense to me. I thought that they might have gotten it last time the titles were on the line, but this time I really think Gallows and Anderson deserve to take it. I think it'll be a much better storyline going forward. New Day are already over. I don't really see where they're going to go with this after this if New Day retains. So I hope they put the belts on Gallows and Anderson.
The only thing I could think of is maybe there's going to be something with Big E where he kind of comes back in and causes a distraction and New Day retains. And then maybe they lose at a Clash of Champions. But
yeah, I could see that, but
they also haven't clarified too yet if Clash of Champions is still the same as Night of Champions, where all the titles are on the line. I mean, if it's a Raw brand pay-per-view, they pretty much have to, because at that point, what the fuck else are you going to do?
Right.
But I don't know. It's kind of weird.
I know Anderson and Gallows are on fire right now. They're on a roll. I could do with, maybe half the amount of balls jokes, but I like what they're doing.
You're getting a little testy?
Yep. Insert balls jokes here.
Insert balls.
God.
Let's move on from balls deep to the women's championship match.
Yeah, sure.
Perfect
why
transition. Not? Sasha Banks would totally get it. But is she going to win the championship? Insert joke about Drew hating Charlotte. Charlotte ain't winning this, right? For sure, Sasha Banks is retaining on this. I don't think that the Dana Brooke situation, she's banned from ringside, is really going to be any kind of a factor that sort of gets in the way in any capacity, because it's sort of the opposite of it. But what do you think? Does Charlotte have any kind of chance?
At this point, I'm not really sure. I really hope Sasha Banks retains. She makes a much better champion, I think. As far as Dana Brooke being barred from ringside, I don't think it'll have too much to factor in there. I think Sasha Banks is going to retain clean. I think Charlotte is going to try some dirty tricks like usual. But hopefully in the end, Sasha Banks just picks up the pin clean, 1, 2, 3.
Pin or submission?
As I was saying that, I was thinking that I would actually prefer to see her submit. But yeah. I don't know. When was the last time? They were faced off, and that was when she won the title, right? That she made her submit?
Yeah, she got her to tap out that time.
Yeah. So I'd like to see it again. So have Sasha Banks make her tap.
There's really no point in not having Sasha retain here. Like, we don't have anybody else set up yet to challenge Sasha Banks, so the rematch was sort of mandatory a little bit, and Charlotte winning again would just retread the same ground. Like, it's not going to be interesting.
Do you think it's possible that Dana Brooke could possibly somehow, I know she's barred from ringside, but you know what that means. Do you think possibly she could play into it somehow? Like maybe she could go on the ramp and make a distraction?
If she's
barred from ringside, but she's not barred from the ramp, is she?
What's weird about this is they kind of teased that she would be breaking up with Charlotte.
See, that's what I was thinking too. They were kind of planting those seeds there as far as dissension between the two. So
Dissension, the second worst tag team in the company right now.
Yes.
The first one, Shining Stars.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Not even Dissension. We have the 2 mid-card titles are on the line. The Miz is going to defend against Apollo Crews, who he keeps calling Apollo Creed, which I'm pretty sure the reason why they had that on this episode was because Daniel Bryan fucked up and called him Apollo Creed. I gotta assume that that's sort of like a poking the bear sort of a thing. But Rusev is also defending the United States Championship against Roman Reigns. Much more attention given to the Rusev-Roman Reigns one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I am leaning more towards both titles staying the same, but if any of them change, I think Apollo Crews could win.
Really? I was thinking the opposite. I was thinking they're probably both going to retain, but if either one of them does, I'm thinking Roman Reigns could pick up a title. I don't want to see it happen, but I could see him doing it.
See, I was going that way until he won on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that whole, like, he beats Rusev on Raw and then Rusev retains through some kind of stupid shenanigans at the pay-per-view. That's the way I think they're going to go with this. Either he cheats or, like, Lana helps out or Reigns kind of loses by, like a sort of like a count-out thing where, Rusev would lose. Rusev loses the match, but he doesn't lose the title, that kind of a situation. I think one of those is going to end up happening.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Have some kind of count out or DQ where the challenger actually wins, but there's no title change. Seems like this is the time when they would do something like that.
Now, I also would think that The Miz has a good chance of retaining too. I think a lot of this depends on the tag team titles. Because we know we're getting at least one guaranteed new champion, the Universal Champion.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking it's pretty much guaranteed Sasha's going to retain. So if Rusev retains, and spoiler alert, I think Dean Ambrose is going to retain. If the tag titles don't change hands, I think it's a guarantee Apollo Crews wins. If the tag titles do, then it's kind of up in the air a little bit. I don't know if they want to put 3 title changes on the same event.
Do you think they would only do one?
I think they could do 1.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Well, 2 from the Universal one, if you count that. Or are you talking about only Universal?
No, I'm talking about, besides crowning the new Universal Champion, I'm talking about
just a tag.
Which, yeah.
That could be it, because that's 2 new champions.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of good enough. And I'd be okay with it, sort of. I mean, Apollo Crews is going to win that belt eventually.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking when they were really pushing him, soon after he debuted, I thought they were pushing him then for that kind of a scene. But right now, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure how hot they are on him. So I would like to see Apollo Crews hold a title here soon. If this is the time, I'm not so sure. I'm defaulting to the champion retaining in both of these cases.
Safe bet.
Yeah.
We have John Cena versus AJ Styles. There's some rumors going around that Cena's taking a little bit of time off after this, but I haven't heard a whole lot of verification for that. So if it's not solidified, kind of up in the air a little bit. I'm still going AJ Styles, though. Oddly enough, John Cena is the type of guy that he wins almost all of his matches. But I don't know, that maybe it's just foolish of me. I think that they might give the win to Styles.
Well, I don't know. The last times that we've seen these guys, it hasn't been, or we did see one-on-one match, didn't we? Because when was the last couple times we've seen them?
Yeah, the first one was a one-on-one, I think. And then we had that tag match with Enzo and Cass.
Right, yeah. This time, I think, because, the first time AJ Styles picked up the win, is that correct? I'm trying to remember back here.
Yeah, that's when Gallows and Anderson interfered.
Yep. This time, I think it's LOL Cena wins.
Another safe bet. Safer than the other one, even. It's like, you can pretty much almost always guarantee that could happen. That's why I feel like I'm foolish for thinking Styles.
I mean, I could, it's not out of the realm of possibility. But right now, I'm thinking SummerSlam, Cena Styles. Cena's going over, in my opinion, right now. Of course, tomorrow, maybe my opinion will change. Who knows?
A big factor with this to me is what they're going to do with the world championship scene. Because right now, Ziggler and Dean Ambrose, I mean, we could talk about that. We're both going Ambrose, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm a big fan of Ziggler. I think that he gets a lot of flack that is unnecessary, even on these podcasts. But he doesn't have a chance at winning here. I do think, though, there's a good chance he might turn heel. Because it's like, well, that was the last kind of shot that I had, and I'm pissed off, that sort of a thing. If he turns heel, Cena's definitely winning. And there's another one of those, like, 50-50, if this, then that sort of thing.
Right.
But if he doesn't, I think they could be using AJ Styles as the next person that Ambrose is going to feud with. And
I could see that.
Kind of what a better way to bring into that feud if then he, beats John Cena.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking that the Ambrose-Ziggler match was basically a setup for a rematch where Ziggler is the clear heel. I think this is, like you were saying before, this is going to be the turning point where Ziggler takes that full turn. He's the full heel, and they're going to rematch again at the next pay-per-view, and Ambrose will retain again, and then maybe move on to AJ Styles at that point. But I'm
very likely.
I'm leaning towards Dean Ambrose this time, and I think there's going to be some kind of character change with Ziggler here.
Now, do you think that Ambrose is going to win clean, or do you think it's going to be one of those things where it's like Ziggler's almost got it, but something weird happened, like maybe he goes for a super kick, but like tweaked his knee a little bit or something, like where he could kind of be like, yeah, I would have won if it weren't for the fucking fat guy in the front row that threw a popcorn at me or something, you know what I mean?
I'm not foreseeing anything like that happening. I think and I hope Ambrose is going to win cleanly, and that's going to drive Ziggler crazy, but we'll see.
I'm thinking clean.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be one of those clean things too, where Ziggler kind of comes out and he's been kind of making this sort of like direction of his character where he's saying, once I beat you, you're going to have to admit that I'm that damn good. And if he loses to Ambrose clean, Ambrose could kind of come out and be like, yo, you lost fair and square. You have to admit that you're not. And then he could be like, nah, now I'm a heel. What I mean? That could be the thing that gets under his skin the most.
To me, it looks like that's what they're leading to.
Now, here's one of the big ones. There's two big ones here that are kind of up in the air. Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. As soon as he was fighting in UFC and they announced that he was going to be going up against anybody, didn't even matter who, and they didn't say that he was going to be wrestling necessarily Randy Orton, I was still thinking to myself, he's got to lose, because the positives and the negatives, I mean, it sort of outweigh each other in a lot of different ways to me. Like, if he would have beaten Mark Hunt, which he did, then if you have him lose to the next person, that person looks so much stronger. If he beats Mark Hunt and he beats the person, we're back in the same route that we've been in for years now. If he loses to Mark Hunt, then Mark Hunt looks like he's stronger than whoever Brock Lesnar beats, and now you're down 3 notches.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of weird like that, because it's kind of like, I mean, now we know what the whole situation with the failing the steroid test, or supposedly failing it, that sort of invalidates Brock Lesnar a little bit. So if Randy Orton were to lose to Brock Lesnar right now, it would make Randy Orton look kind of cheap, sort of.
You see, now you're bringing up a couple of points there. I think the failing of the drug test plays in much more than whether he won or lost to Mark Hunt there.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they even addressed it. Randy Orton cut the promo, like, what do you say, no enhancements needed or something like that. So that was good. But here, I agree. I think Randy Orton is going to go over. And I think they've been planning this for a while. And I think that the fact that the drug test came back the way it did just solidified that deal even further. So as much as I like Lesnar, as much as I want to see him dominate every opponent that he comes across, I think they're going to give it to Orton this time.
See, my big issue with the whole thing, Randy Orton's not a guy that needs it.
No, that's true.
And I really wish that they would have kind of had the foresight and gone with somebody like a Cesaro.
Yeah, but I think they're building Randy Orton up for something here soon. And this is his first big match, right? The last time it was just he did the the Miz TV or something on the last pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think that was it.
And so we haven't seen Randy Orton in a pay-per-view setting since he's returned, have we? I don't believe.
No, we've only seen him wrestle a couple little times on SmackDown.
Yeah. So I think in the grand scheme of things, they're building Randy Orton up for something. I don't know if it's going for the title or Dean Ambrose's title rather, or what they're going to do. But I think that Randy Orton needs to go over Lesnar this time. And I hope they do it in a way that isn't going to make Lesnar look weak. You know, Lesnar needs to look strong too, because he is still what he was drafted like 4th or something, right?
Ooh, I don't know if he might have been 3rd.
Yeah, I know it was in the top 5.
I don't remember if he was 3rd or if Finn Balor was 3rd.
Oh, I think Finn Balor was 5th.
Yeah, he was 5th because I think Charlotte was 4th. So
Yep.
I think Lesnar was 3. So it went Rollins, Ambrose, Lesnar. Wait, then that would make sense.
No, I'm okay. I just pulled it up here. I'm completely misremembering this. Brock Lesnar was in the 2nd round. Overall, he was 8th.
Oh, damn.
So,
Oh, wait, that was right after the failing, too. So that was one of the reasons why.
Yep.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm still leaning towards Randy Orton, but you know what? I'm not going to be shocked at all if Randy Orton loses. It's Brock Lesnar. He wins damn near every match.
Oh, yeah. It wouldn't be shocking at all. Brock Lesnar is the beast incarnate. So him winning is expected for the most part.
Now, this is where it gets to the unexpected kind of situation. Piggybacking off of that. Universal Championship. We got Seth Rollins. We got Finn Balor. One of these two is going to be the first ever Universal Champion. I don't know who to go with.
Universal Championship aside, this match is one that I am super excited. It just being for the inaugural Universal Champion makes it even more. But just Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins, come on, it sells itself right there. You don't even need a title on the line, but putting the title on top of that, I am very, very excited for this match.
You got a favorite to pick?
I'm going to pick Rollins. I think Finn Balor is going to be chasing the title a little longer, but I'm going to go with Rollins right now. That's my gut instinct at the time.
See, my brain says Rollins, but I kind of think Balor might win. I think that's sort of the new era that they're sort of trying to push.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like facetious if they don't go with the new guy.
See, I can see both sides of it. I don't know. It's going to be really exciting either way. And I was thinking the same thing as soon as they announced Finn Balor, he won the tournament to be the number one contender. I was at that time I was convinced that Balor was going to win the title. Now I'm not so sure.
They're building him up a little bit too much.
Exactly. That's why I think maybe they want to have him in the chase, in the hunt for the title a little longer.
Yeah, it makes sense. Babyface chasing the champion usually works better than the babyface as the champion. And if you bring him onto the roster and he wins the belt right off the bat, sort of like where do you go after that a little bit? So I wouldn't be shocked at all if Seth Rollins wins here. And I'm not confident in saying that Finn Balor is going to win.
No, I'm not confident either way. But if I were going to put money on it, I would say that Seth Rollins is going to be that champion.
Yeah, gun to my head, money on the line, I'm going Rollins.
I have a question for you. What was your opinion? Because we didn't have a post Raw show there, and we talked some in the Facebook group. As far as them debuting the demon, the costume and the entrance and everything on Raw, what did you think about that? What was your opinion?
Big mistake. I don't get it. I think that they should have kept that for the SummerSlam because they've shown it before on NXT, so everybody's kind of already seen it. And if you haven't seen NXT, not putting it on Raw and showing it at SummerSlam would have been the way to get people to watch, you know?
As a fan, I am really disappointed that they gave it away that early on Raw. And I understand why they did. Sure, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of WWE fans who might not have seen Finn Balor do the demon entrance. Maybe they're not NXT fans also. That's understandable. But, they've shown clips of him in the costume and stuff. But doing the full entrance and everything like that, I think they blew their load too early. And I don't get me wrong. I understand what they're doing. Their point is to get people to spend the $9.99 on the network. They want people to tune into that. So anything they can do to hook people that aren't already subscribed to subscribe to that network to, oh my gosh, I got to see this. Oh, look, he does this demon thing. But you've seen it. So I think they wanted to hook people to get them into buying it if they were kind of on the fence. But I think giving it away too early was a mistake. I was disappointed. Well, more than that, more than showing the demon and the entrance, I was disappointed that they locked up, that they fought, that they touched. Keep them separated. Do not let them touch before the match. And the fact that they did a little bit, I think, was a mistake.
It's a weird connotation of like, hey, you two can hate each other, you can beat the shit out of each other, but don't touch.
Well, that's what because it builds up that suspense. I've already seen them, but if they've never touched at all, then it's even more of a big moment when they finally do.
Well, didn't they beforehand? Didn't they have some kind of a scuffle like 2 weeks ago?
Even still, they shouldn't have done that if they did. I don't remember.
Or we'll write it off and say that was Finn Balor, not the Demon King.
Exact. Yes, that's what I'm going with. I'm going with saying that was the Demon King, not the Demon Kane, the Demon King.
I'm getting those two, every time that they say that, I'm thinking Demon Kane, which is still so stupid as it is, but it's like, you drilled Demon Kane into my head, now you're going to try to drill Demon King in there?
Not to be confused with Dean Kane from The Adventures of Lois and Clark.
They're going to introduce a new wrestler next week. It's going to be Damon Kane. It's just going to be terrible. All right, so if you had to pick, what do you think is going to end up being the best and the worst parts of SummerSlam from all this list, or anything else that you think they might be adding to the card?
As far as the best, got to go with Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. That is the one I'm looking forward to, and I sure hope it doesn't disappoint.
Totally
agree. I have very high expectations for that match. As far as the low point, I'm looking down the card here. I really don't have much expectation for the last minute 6-woman tag that they just added, so I'm not even going to really count that. I'm going to say the Cesaro Sheamus match because it's the first match in a best of 7 series. So there's not really too much going on with it. I mean, it doesn't either way. It doesn't matter because then the other guy's going to pick up one and it's going to be pretty much tied going into the 7th final one. So I say the hype is I'm just kind of flatlined about that one. Don't get me wrong. I like Cesaro. I'm not really a fan of Sheamus. I love Cesaro, but that's kind of a meh match for me.
See, there's a couple that I don't think are going to be really that great. The women's championship match, I'm actually less interested in that than the 6-woman tag match. Because I'm really kind of curious to see what they're going to do with Eva Marie. I'm not as much into the tag team match as I was expecting to be. Oddly enough, I totally agree with what you're saying with Sheamus and Cesaro. That's sort of like, well, it's the first one. Leave yourself room to do other stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's actually going to be the Lesnar-Orton match. It's going to be the worst part. I don't think that they're going to have good chemistry together, and I think that Randy Orton's past injuries are going to make it to where Lesnar doesn't do as much. He's a little bit safer. And I think that there's going to be some kind of weird stuff going on in this match. I think that there's also going to be kind of one of those things where it's like they built it up and it's not going to matter, or not matter. Not that it's going to match what its reverence is supposed to be. A lot of people are going to be like, wow, this is going to be one of the best things we've seen this year. Mm-hmm. And if it's just okay, people are going to be hating it.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the most hype matches on the card, and I don't think it's necessarily going to be even necessarily the top 3 in performance. Do you think they're going to do the spot of the F5 into the RKO?
Oh, definitely. They have to.
I hope so.
And I think it's going to be a kick out, too. Because I think that when they do that, everybody's going to be like, oh my God, that's the end of the match. And what the fuck? He kicked out. Oh my God. And then he'll win with like another one or something like that. Or maybe he'll even win with a punt. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Or Brock Lesnar just wins, takes off another couple of months, comes back, wins again, never puts anybody over, doesn't amount to anything, that kind of a thing. Because what's the point in having him win all the time to build somebody to beat him if nobody beats him? I don't get it. Roman Reigns didn't. That was supposed to build up to Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins somehow won that match. So I don't quite understand it, but whatever happens with that, we're going to be reviewing it on our post-show review after SummerSlam, which is going to come after we do our NXT TakeOver post-show. Lots of stuff coming up this weekend, everybody. We want to make sure that you guys all stay tuned by subscribing and all the other kind of stuff that you can do. Last thing that we need to take care of, though, just some plugs. So, Kalen, anything you want to promote?
Yes, you can follow me on the Twitter at Kalen Ferris. And if you're not yet in our Facebook group, the Megamaniacs, make sure you check that out because we chat during the live events often. And I know we're going to be there talking about SummerSlam. So come join the conversation at the Megamaniacs.
Woo! Conversation.
Woo!
All right, guys. As I mentioned many, many times in the past, and I will be mentioning many, many times in the future, go ahead and check out that rest hold to see what all the other stuff I have to say is. But make sure that you, more than anything, keep checking smarkoutmoment.com and subscribe to the channel. Give us a thumbs up, leave your comments, follow us on Facebook and Twitter, all the other stuff on social media like that. That's it for episode number 247 of Smack Talk. This has been another Smark Out Moment, and we're being counted out.